Здравствуйте. Меня зовут Вера Алексеевна Полякова-Норвуд. Добро пожаловать на урок русского языка. My name is Vera Polякova-Norwood and welcome to our Russian class. Well, we have been studying the Russian alphabet with you and I hope that you have been working on it very hard. While we have been learning the letters of the Russian alphabet, we also acquired a nice vocabulary. You already know names of sports that are very popular in Russia. Right? You remember that hockey is the most popular sport during the winter time. Football is the #1 summer sport. Well, the Russian people also enjoy playing tennis and basketball. Baseball is pretty much an American thing, and the Russians have just started learning about it. Not too many people know about baseball in Russia, but I think there's at least one professional baseball team. And the Russian people just say it baseball, baseball. We learned how to identify several things around us. Right now you are watching televisor. Televisor. Somewhere in your classroom you are supposed to have a telephone. Telephone. And from time to time we do enjoy listening to the radio. Radio. You know that the Russian people are very fond of ballet. Ballet. That's one of the most popular forms of entertainment in Russia. Russians also like kino, kino, and they enjoy going to a theater, theater. When people are hungry, they go to a restaurant, and the first thing you do in a restaurant is read a menu, menu. And you remember that Russians have a very keen sense of humor. Humor. You know that the best way to get around in a Russian city is by metro, metro, but autobus is readily available, and if you are in a hurry, then catch a taxi, taxi. Lots of Russian words that you already know. Хорошо. Хорошо. So today we will take a look at the 5th letter group from the Russian alphabet. And these are the letters that this letter group is composed of. So let's take a look at them. E, G, Ya, Yo, I. And let's go over them one more time. E, look at this. Looks like backwards C, and then it has this thing in the middle. E, G. This letter comes with a hard G sound. G. Ya, ya, yo. Notice the 2 little dots on top of this. And the letter I completes this set for us. Let's concentrate our attention now on the first 3 letters here. We shall begin with the letter E. I have already pointed out to you that it looks like a backwards C with this little thing in the middle. The letter E. E. When we identify things and people, we start with это, this is. And in this word, we find the letter E. E. Also, we need to take a closer look at the Russian letter G. G. It always comes with a hard G, G sound. The letter G. And this is the letter Ya. Ya. Looks like backwards R, but it's a vowel. It's the letter Ya. Ya. So we need to take a look at a few words that contain these letters. And we shall begin with the word expert. Expert. If you have a lot of knowledge in one area, then you are an expert in that area. Expert sounds just like expert. 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 The name of the biggest airlines company in Russia is called Aeroflot. Aeroflot. And maybe you have flown by Aeroflot. This is really big. This is a big airlines company. Aeroflot. Aeroflot. It used to be the only one in Russia. Now it's just the biggest, but there are other carriers as well. Aeroflot. So let's take a look at a picture of an airplane with the name of this company on it. Aeroflot. Aeroflot. Well, let's continue looking at the words. And our next one is Gazeta. Gazeta. Notice it starts with the letter G. Gazeta. And look at this. Это газета. Это газета. A newspaper. And you may have noticed that the word газета sounds just like gazette. Газета. Это газета. Хорошо. If you are going to a theater or to a sports event, you need to take a программа. Программа. A program. Программа. 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 So let's look at those words on one page. Эксперт, Аэрофлот, газета, программа. Эксперт, Аэрофлот, газета, программа. Хорошо. You know that the Russian people call their capital Moskva. But how do they call their country? Россия. Россия. That's the Russian word for Russia. Россия. Россия. It's a lovely word, isn't it? Россия. And ends in the letter Ya. Россия. The letter Ya also occurs in the word мелодия. Мелодия. What a musical word. And it means melody. Мелодия. Мелодия. So, the words that have the letter Ya in it. Россия. Мелодия. Россия. Мелодия. And as we always do, we need to take a look at how to write these letters in cursive. So we shall start today with the letter E. The letter E. We begin with something that looks like a backwards C, and then we add this middle element. This is very easy to do. Backwards C, and then this thing in the middle. And this is the capital letter E. The lowercase just looks smaller, but we do the same thing. Start with a backwards C and then add this thing in the middle, the letter E. Okay. Then we looked with you at the letter G. G. And this is what we do with this letter in cursive. And that's it. We start from the top, we go down, we curve it to the left, and then we add this nice little element on top of it, the letter G. G. And let me do it one more time. Consists of two parts. Now I want you to watch me closely as I am going to write the lowercase letter G. This is what we do. And that's it. Nice little curves. Just curve it in the right direction. And let's try one more time. That's the lowercase G. G. We also talked about the letter Ya. And this is it. That's the letter Ya. That's our letter Ya. Okay, let's try again. We begin right above the line. We go down. Then we are doing this little thing, this little circle. But now we need to give it a pointed top. And we are coming down like this. It takes a little bit of time to learn how to do it quickly and effortlessly. But that's how it should look. And the lowercase is just a smaller version of the capital letter. Just make it look smaller, and you will have your letter Ya. And I need to comment that this letter Ya all by itself does the same thing in the Russian language as the letter I in the English language. That's your first person pronoun. Ya means I. Хорошо. So let's continue practicing with this, and we will work on the words. You know that the Russian word for a person who has a lot of knowledge in a certain area is expert, right? Expert. Expert. We know that the Russian word for a newspaper is gazeta. 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 You know that the Russian people call their country Россия. 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 Эксперт, газета, Россия. Эксперт, газета, Россия. Хорошо. There are two more letters in today's letter group. We shall begin with the letter Yo. Yo. Notice that it looks almost like the letter Ye, but it has these two little dots on top. Yo. Yo. The letter Yo. And let me show you this. This is not number 61. It's the letter U. U. It's a variant of an E sound. In the English language, it occurs only in one position after the W. When you say Will or William, you pronounce this sound represented by this letter. But in the Russian language, it occurs in very many positions. U. U. The bulk of your tongue should go back into your throat, and then you will be able to say it. U. Right now it may sound a little bit awkward because your organs of speech are not used to assuming this position. But as we practice with you, things will become a lot easier. Just remember, this is not the number 61. This is the Russian letter U. U. And of course, we are going to look at the words in which these letters occur. Muzika. Muzika. What does this mean? Music. Music. Музыка. 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 Хорошо. The letter E occurs at the end of this word. Сувениры. 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 When you go to Russia, you will find an abundance of different сувениры. Это сувениры. We also find the letter E at the end of this word. Фрукты. And what does this mean? Фрукты. Fruit. Fruits. Фрукты. Фрукты. And the letter E is right in the middle of this word. Выход, which means exit. Выход. When you are in a Russian museum and you would like to leave that place, look for the sign that says выход, exit. Выход. So let's look at these words on one page. Музыка, музыка, сувениры, сувениры, фрукты, фрукты, выход, выход. Хорошо, хорошо. And now let's look at the words that contain the letter Yo. Remember the one with the two dots on top? Самолет. Самолет. An airplane. Самолет. In fact, this Russian word means flies by itself. Самолет. What a wondrous thing, isn't it? Самолет. An airplane. The letter Yo begins this word. Ёлка. Ёлка. Which means two things. A fir tree and a Christmas or a New Year's party for children, which is rotating, which is organized around that fir tree. Ёлка. Ёлка. And also the letter Yo is in this word. Береза. A birch tree. A silver birch tree. A silver birch tree is very special to every Russian person. It holds a very special, very honored place in the Russian folklore. And when you travel in Russia, you will see silver birches growing everywhere. But let's look at the words with the letter Yo. Самолет, ёлка, береза. Самолет, ёлка, береза. Now let's look at a few pictures. I will ask you, что это? Respond to me in complete sentences. Итак, что это? Это самолет. Это самолет. Что это? Это ёлка. Это ёлка. Что это? Это береза. Это береза. Что это? Это сувениры. Это сувениры. And now let's look at how we write the letters Yo and E in the cursive format. Okay. The letter Yo. Yo. And you remember, we have to put the two dots right here. Yo. Never forget about crowning this letter with these two little dots. The letter Yo. And this is the lowercase. Also has 2 dots. They are a very important part of this letter, so please never forget about the 2 dots on top of the letter U. And the letter E. That's what we do with it. We only have the lowercase for the letter E. It never appears at the beginning of a word. It can only appear in the middle or at the end. So we only have the lowercase for the letter E. And we know that the letter E occurs in the middle of the word muzika, music, muzika, muzika. And we also know that it is in the middle of it's at the end of the word сувениры, 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 сувениры. You know that when we need to cover great distances, we travel by самолет, самолет. Самолет. And then елка is the name of a tree, a fir tree, or it also stands for a children's party at Christmas or New Year's. Музыка, сувениры, самолет, елка. Хорошо. Хорошо. So we have learned a lot of Russian words. And now I want to show you a few things, and I want you to tell me what they are. Итак, что это? Что это? Это газета. Это газета. А что это? Что это? Это сувениры. Это сувениры. And now let's look at pictures. Итак, что это? Это самолет. Что это? Can you identify the airlines? Аэрофлот. Аэрофлот. Хорошо. What country is this? Что это? Это Россия. Это Россия. And what is the name of this city? Что это? Что это? Это Москва. Это Москва. And what do we find in the center of Moscow? Что это? Это Кремль. Это Кремль. What's the name of this tree? Что это? Это елка. Елка. А это? Что это? Это береза. Это береза. And finally, let's look at this. Что это? Это фрукты. Это фрукты. Хорошо. When you are doing your follow-up exercises on this video lesson, you will be practicing with Russian names. And I would like now to give you examples of Russian male names and Russian female names that seem to be very popular right now. Among the most popular Russian male names are Andrei, Boris, Vladimir, Nikolai, Oleg, Pyotr, Sergei. Some of these words, some of these names have Western counterparts. For example, Andrei is, what's the westernized version of Andrei? Andrew. And Pyotr in the West is known as Peter. Other names such as Vladimir, Oleg can only be found in Russia. Very popular female names are Anna, Galina, Елена, Maria, Natalia, Olga, Tatiana. Yeah. Again, some of these names are very popular in the West too. Anna or Maria, for example. But the words like Galina or Елена, Tatiana are more popular in the Slavic countries. But I hope that you will enjoy practicing with Russian names too. And at this point we know so many letters in the Russian alphabet that you can handle very many Russian names. Okay, so please work very seriously on those follow-up exercises and practice with Russian letters and words in their cursive format. And I hope that so far you have really enjoyed working on the Russian alphabet. And please remember that we are just in the beginning of this wonderful process, and there will be many more beautiful things to come. So, большое спасибо. Thank you very much. Until I see you next time. До свидания.